This is a first for this channel, but I think it's time we check out the number of films ever in the Japanese box office. This is 2020's Demon Slayer the movie, Mugen Train. Spoiler alert, while I might be giving you my opinion on the film, that's no substitute for watching it for yourself. Links to the film are in the description. We start off in a peaceful forest, where a man's walking by gravestones of children that he still hopes to avenge. He speaks of demon catastrophes that he's heard about, and he mentions the Demon Slayer Corps that's still fighting to destroy them and keep them back. Then we cut over to a train station where a locomotive is preparing to leave the station. Zenitsu, Tanjiro, and Inosuke all prepare to sneak onto the train, but they have to hide their weapons first. Once they realize that it's leaving without them, Inosuke makes a break for it, and the others follow. They barely make it on, and they head into one of the cars to find a man. But Rengoku makes his presence known before they even see him. He's enjoying some food that's apparently very tasty because after every bite, he screams that the food's tasty. I'm not gonna lie, I've had some food that was so good I wanted to scream tasty after every bite. But this guy's supposed to be so powerful that I'd expect a little more subtlety. Tanjiro introduces himself and his friends, and Rengoku already senses Tanjiro's demon sister, Nezuko, in the box that he carries. Once they sit down, Tanjiro tries to get some information about his father, but Rengoku really has no idea about anything but the mission. Apparently, there have been a higher number of demon attacks on the Mugen Train, and they're there to help reduce that statistic. Once Zenitsu finds out that that's their mission, he doesn't seem so calm anymore. Just then, the Ticketmaster calmly walks through to take their stubs. But when Tanjiro hands him his ticket, something changes. Suddenly, a demon appears, and Rengoku stands to put an end to him. He uses his first form of flame breathing to slash right through the demon, and Tanjiro is amazed at his technique. I am too, honestly. It's been a little while since I've watched anime, but you've gotta love the majesty of the action scenes. That was a single slice, and it was the most pumped up I felt in a good while. A good anime will always get you ready to fight or go on an adventure. With that demon gone, Rengoku senses another in a different car, and the group makes their way down. Soon, they come across a really weird demon that's attacking an innocent man trapped in the car, and Inosuke attacks hastily. He's surprised by the demon's counter, and Rengoku uses his second form to take down this demon as well. So Rengoku clearly has this under control. So what's Tanjiro and his friends doing there? Just then, we see that the conductor goes to his boss to tell them that he has to put everyone to sleep, and he's hoping to be reunited with his dead wife and daughter. The person he's working for is actually a hand? Literally, a talking hand with a mouth and an eye. This got really weird now. But wait, so that was all a dream before? Or did they get put to sleep after taking out those two demons? She kills the man and turns to her other subjects to have them go tie up everyone, including the demon slayers. In Tanjiro's dream, he's walking through a snowy forest, and he senses someone else is there. He's back at his old home and his family's still alive. He tackles them as he sobs, and the train moves on. On top of the train, another being's riding on top, and apparently it's the owner of the demon hand that was inside. Tanjiro knows that he's in the middle of a dream, but he gets sucked up in it and enjoys being around his family one more time. After a while, he actually talks himself into thinking that his actual life was a bad dream instead. The longer the dream goes on, the deeper he falls into it. The demon on top of the train says that if they fall too far into their dreams, they'll never wake again. And what is Zenitsu dreaming about? Tanjiro's sister Nezuko. Go figure. And actually Inosuke's dreaming about her too. As much as I've seen Nezuko around in cosplay, clothes, and other questionable forms, I'm not surprised that characters of the show are actually dreaming about her too. Rengoku, on the other hand, dreams of the disappointment that he was to his father. In case any of you are new to anime, every character has to have a tragic backstory to drive them towards their goal. For some characters, it's the love of a girl that will never look at them that way. For others, they're made fun of by everyone in the village, and they have to prove themselves. It's just the backbone of every protagonist and antagonist. In Rengoku's dream, another woman seems to be inside of it, and she looks for the edge of the dream. It turns out that if she destroys the subconscious on the other side of the dream, the owner of the dream will cease to be. She reaches it and tears it apart to find a fiery landscape in his subconscious. Once she finds his spiritual core, she notices that it's a different color from any other she's ever seen. But he chokes her when she goes to strike it. Meanwhile, Tanjiro's still dreaming of a happy life, but he's starting to have trouble shaking the habits that he's learned in the real world. Bits of reality even slip in from time to time. He goes to get water from the river, and his reflection actually grabs him to try and wake him up. Finally, he realizes that this really is the dream world. Back on the train, Nezuko falls out of her box and sees everyone sleeping. I've been waiting for her. It only took her half an hour to fall out. She doesn't disappoint though. She literally uses her demon powers to burn Tanjiro out of his dream. It's too perfect. Gotta love Nezuko. Tanjiro feels himself waking from the dream, and he says his goodbyes to them for the last time. He runs through the snow to find his way out of the dream, but he runs into the version of Nezuko that isn't possessed by a demon and stops in his tracks. Tanjiro wishes that things could stay this way, but he knows that he must get back to reality to fight the demon that put him in this dream. What Tanjiro doesn't see is that someone in his dream is there to destroy his core too. When the man goes into his subconscious, he finds a beautiful landscape, and he can't believe the warm feeling he has. Inosuke's enemy is so terrified of him that he literally chases her around the caves in his dream. I do feel bad for her. I'd run like hell if I was her too. And now that I see Zenitsu chase after his enemy, I'm more worried about the bad guys here. Maybe the good guys aren't all that innocent after all. Back in Tanjiro's dream, his father calls out to him and gives him advice on how to master his skills in the dream world. Apparently his father pops up just to tell him to kill himself in the dream so he can wake up. Honestly, I'm not sure if I would just go believing anyone that pops up in my dreams. For all I know, it's probably the demon talking me into doing its work for him. It ends up working out though. Tanjiro comes to in the train, and he finds Nezuko and the others. He notices that everyone's tied to their attackers by a rope, and he has Nezuko burn the ropes with her demon blood. No one wakes up though. Suddenly, the attackers that were in the dreams all get ready to kill Tanjiro, but the one that was inside his dream simply cries. Tanjiro finds out that all they want is a happy dream like the one he had, and he simply knocks them out. The only one that he doesn't knock out is the one that was in his dream. We see that Tanjiro's spirit actually led him to the core, and the warmth he felt in the subconscious was enough to give him a change of heart. He tells Tanjiro to be careful, and he lets the two of them go to handle the demon. Aw, even for an anime, that's a great feel-good moment. It's weird that it's this early into the story though. I can definitely see why fans of the series ended up loving this. It's perfect so far. Great pacing, and I feel like I'm getting quite a bit of story in a movie. Tanjiro comes face to face with the demon on top of the train, and he has Nezuko go back inside and try to wake everyone up. The demon's actually amazed that Tanjiro was able to pull himself out of his dream, but he doesn't have much time to admire it. Tanjiro pulls out his sword, and the demon realizes that Tanjiro's the one he's been looking for apparently. The demon tries to use his magic to put Tanjiro to sleep, but somehow he just keeps coming for him. He realizes that Tanjiro's actually falling asleep over and over, but he's staying self-aware and ending his life in the dream over and over to bring himself back. Eventually, the demon decides to put Tanjiro in a nightmare instead, where his dead family blames him for everything that happened. That's still not enough to stop Tanjiro. Why isn't Tanjiro mentioned as an epic MC in anime? It's always Naruto, Goku, Luffy, and Midoriya. Don't get me wrong, they're all great too, but Tanjiro's actually facing some crazy enemies without the years and years of training and failing. It's all life and death for him. Tanjiro finally decapitates the demon, but the head turns itself into a big wriggling worm demon. Apparently the demon fused its being with the actual train, so there's no real way for him to stop the demon. Soon, the 200 passengers in the train will become part of the demon's body. The demon disappears to devour the passengers, but Tanjiro knows that he can only protect 2 cars at most. Finally, Nezuko wakes up the others, and Inosuke's the first to keep the demon train from eating people. Both of them take half of the train, and the demon can be seen inside the train loving every bit of this. Just then, Nezuko goes all awesome demon girl and slashes her way through the demon tentacles that are trying to eat the passengers. Once the tentacles grab her, it seems to wake up Zenitsu. I'm not gonna lie, Zenitsu would be a good guy for Nezuko. He's not even fully awake yet. He just sensed that she was in danger and came after the demon. Tanjiro does his best to hold back the demon, and soon Rengoku finally wakes up and causes a stir. He finally gets to Tanjiro's car, and he tells him his plan for Tanjiro and Inosuke to find the demon's head to kill it completely. They set off, and Inosuke thinks that the head is at the front of the train. Once he gets there, he finds the conductor. But when he goes to attack the engine, the demon shows up and grabs him. It takes Tanjiro to slice through them all. Then they attack what they think is the head of the demon, but they end up revealing the neck. This demon isn't going down easy. After seeing how quickly it heals, Tanjiro tries to coordinate his attacks with Inosuke, but the demon brings so many eyes forward that Tanjiro keeps falling asleep. After he forcibly wakes himself over and over, he almost kills himself in real life because he loses track of how many times he's had to wake himself up. At first I thought this power of the demon was kind of low grade, but now I'm realizing how annoyingly effective it can be. You don't have to be a powerful fighter with all sorts of abilities when your opponent is asleep. Finally, they coordinate their attacks in such a way that Tanjiro's able to sever the head with one foul swoop. The train flies off of the tracks, and they all go careening into a field nearby. But Tanjiro's been stabbed by the conductor who wishes for his final dream. Now that they've stopped the train, Tanjiro doesn't think he can move anymore, and he sends Inosuke to check on the others. While Tanjiro lies there trying to control his breathing, a small part of the demon crawls from the wreckage, and he blames all of the Slayers. He blames Tanjiro more than any, and he starts to fade away. Suddenly, Rengoku pops up and compliments Tanjiro on his breathing control, and he explains how he can take control of the bleeding going on in his gut. Well, that's a very useful technique to master. Imagine being able to control every bit of your body just by the way you breathe. Now imagine mastering that and saving yourself only to be faced with an even more powerful demon from the upper three. Yeah, that's exactly what happens here. The upper three demon almost lands a blow on Tanjiro, but Rengoku slices his arm just in time. The upper three immediately regenerates, and he takes a second to offer Rengoku the chance to become a demon. Rengoku politely declines, and they immediately start going at each other. If you've ever wanted to watch an anime where they waste no time getting down and dirty, this is the one for you. What would take 20 episodes in something like Dragon Ball to even start? This one just gives you what you came for and mesmerizes you with how clean it looks. I'm all about this. Rengoku and the demon continue fighting on their master level, and Inosuke and Tanjiro can't help but watch. Inosuke knows that he isn't fast enough to fight on their level, and Tanjiro can't afford to reopen his wound. Finally, the demon starts to land some devastating blows. But Rengoku isn't giving up that easily. Eventually, though, Rengoku spends all of his strength and energy, and his fighting style actually ends up crippling him. The upper three demon tries to explain that he would heal instantly if he was a demon, but Rengoku musters enough power to send his fire spirit through his entire body, and he uses his ninth form, which is named after himself. This is absolutely epic. There's no other way to describe it. Rengoku slices the demon with such mastery that you don't even think there's a chance he could survive. But go figure, the demon punches him straight through his gut. I mean, there's no coming back from this one. I know anime's famous for laughing in the face of fatal blows, but this dude could use him as a sock puppet at this point. The demon offers him the chance to join him one more time, and Rengoku remembers back to a speech his mother gave him about how they must defend the weak. The demon tries to finish him off before the sun rises, but Rengoku refuses to let go. With a sword at the demon's neck and his hand caught in his hand, Rengoku refuses to let him go before he kills him. Finally, Inosuke and Tanjiro rush to help finish him off, but the demon removes his own arms just in time to make it into the forest before the sun rises. Tanjiro throws his sword and pierces the demon through the chest, but it keeps running as he tells the demon that he didn't win. Dude, now your sword's gone. I don't think Tanjiro really thought this one through. What's a demon slayer without a sword? With the demon escaping, Rengoku calls Tanjiro over to give him a final talk before he dies. He tells Tanjiro the answer about his father he'd been looking for, and he tells him about his younger brother Senjuro. He hopes that Tanjiro will tell his family his final words, and Rengoku bleeds out as he gives Tanjiro his final comforting words. Everyone but Rengoku's crying at this point. And honestly, I'm watching this with 4 other people right now, and 3 of them are crying too. This is amazing, and I'll give this movie all the praise it deserves. In his final moments, Rengoku sees his mother's spirit as she tells him how proud she is of him. Then he closes his eyes for the last time. Zenitsu comes over and tells them that it was thanks to Rengoku and his techniques that everyone survived the train derailing. Finally, Inosuke rallies everyone to stop crying and get ready to do everything that Rengoku told them to do. But he ends up sitting there crying with them. Finally, a raven's seen flying overhead, and it's seen crying too. I'm not even judging at this point. Obviously, the bird's a messenger to the other demon slayers, but it has a right to cry at this point too. I think I've only cried in about 3 movies in my entire life, but this one almost did. Between the majesty of the story, the remarkable soundtrack, and the connection to the characters, this ending definitely hits you as hard as they were trying to do. After everyone gets the message of Rengoku's death, the credits roll. This was epic, and we're definitely going to be doing more anime. Give me suggestions and give it a shot. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more like this one. Comment what you think I should watch next, and I'll see you in the next video.